This is Marcel with Anvil Wealth, and we've got Dane Hillis here, Long Beach State volleyball team. Today we're going to do modules number 4 and 5. So we're going to start with number 4, which is credit score. This one has a lot of information. Some of this might be a little repetitive because you may know some of it that other people don't, but I'm going to go through it with you anyways, and then you can share what you know with us, okay?
Sounds great.
So the first one is check your credit and write down your number. Obviously you did that. For people that are in college, or maybe they don't have a full-time job yet, they're not in the workforce all the way, they might have a part-time or a side gig. I just recommend going to like Credit Karma and doing the free one. It's not exact. It's actually always a little bit lower than your FICO score because they're trying to sell you things to increase your score, like new credit cards, new lines of credit, car loans, things like that. Let's see here. On the first one, so there's different scoring models, but they're generally the same. The first thing is always pay your bill. That's pretty obvious, right? And if you get into a short-term situation, like you lose a job and you're starting a new job and you can't make one payment, make the payment. Borrow money from a friend. Shit, call me if you really need it. We'll pay the minimum payment and you can pay me back when you start working again. But don't miss a payment because it takes 7 years to clear that off your record. The second one is the amount of credit, the usable credit that you have, you want to keep it really under 20% is their scoring model. The real number that raises their eyebrows a little and it changes your number is 50% of usable credit. That's the big number. That's when they go, okay, wait a minute, what do you spend all this money on, you know? So, but 20% is just a good usable guideline. The third one is avoid applying for many forms of credit at the same time. You apply for multiple forms of credit at the same time, like a car loan and a house loan, you're screwing yourself because every time you apply for a new one, it's going to drop. The fourth one is something you have some control over, but you can't really speed it up, is time. And the longer your credit is in good standing, and then eventually the more lines of credit that you open, meaning multiple credit cards, a gas card, you get a car loan, eventually get a home loan, those things. As you get that, and as years go by, you are you're less risky because you've handled the credit for a longer period of time. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So those are the 4. We got keep credit under the threshold, 20%. It's really 50%, but I say 20 because that's the really good number. Always make your payments on time no matter what. Avoid applying for many forms of credit at the same time, and then maintain your credit for a long period of time. I don't recommend that if you don't have a steady income or full-time job. So it depends on everyone's situation at your age. If you're in college and you're not working, don't get a credit card. Like wait, Now, if you have income, if your parents, pay, if you have a credit card and your parents are paying for it, or you have, NIL deals where money's coming in, things like that, that's fine because then you have some kind of income and then you're good. You keep your balance under 20%. That's it on the credit scoring module. That's pretty detailed. I wanted to go through it quick. It's a lot of info, but it's relevant info. It's stuff people need to know. And, this credit score one is kind of why I started doing Anvil and going into financial literacy. So that's kind of why you can kind of tell I'm pretty passionate about this stuff. So any thoughts?
I have nothing on credit score. I think I understand that for sure. And that one makes sense. It seems like it's more on the complicated side, but your 4 checklists are great. That makes it seem pretty straightforward.
Yeah, just remember those 4 things and how it works.
That was great. I really understood a lot of what you went over, and it just kind of reinforced what I had previously learned.
Okay, yeah, great. I knew you were pretty sharp on this stuff. That's why I did most of the talking for this one today. But I wanted to get you to think through those 2 scenarios because, one is don't buy your car a week before your loan is closing. And the other one is know when you pay off a car, your account closes and your credit will go down. So it's just a couple things to remember, okay? All right, that's the end of module 4.